Welcome back to my channel. I'm Cadence. I learned how to create cut creases from Angela Bright's. It's inspired by her, but it's also my take and my tips that I learned creating cut creases. Today I'll be showing you how to complete this cut crease I have wearing right here. So to create my look today, I'm going to be using my Tarteist Pro Amazonian clay palette. There's some really pretty neutrals in here and also some pops of colors. So I have already primed my eyes, and I actually primed them using my Ivory concealer by It Cosmetics. The brushes I'll be using today are my Sigma Blending E25 brush, Sigma Tapered Blending E35. It's clean, but it's stained with some color that I used before. My Sigma Small Tapered Blending E45, and my Sigma Lip L05. Any kind of brushes will work for this, but these are my personal favorite to use for my cut crease. I'm going to start with this brown right here. It's in the color Bold, and it's this light brown, and what I like to do is I like to apply it just a little bit on my first E25 brush. What I like to do is I like to apply it just above my crease, just to create like a little wash of color, and I like to kind of wiggle the brush back and forth just to get the color where I want it. And I'm really just focusing it in my crease right here. Create like a little wash of color. I'll be repeating the same step on the other eye. I'm going to be taking the same brush, the E25, and I'm going to go into a darker brown color, and I'm going to apply that just above the color that we just applied, and I'm going to blend that out. I'm going to actually switch to my tapered blending, my E35. It's still kind of damp because I actually just cleaned my brushes for this video. I'm just going to dry that off first before I take any shadow on it. So I'm going to blend this right above and slightly on the color that I just blended on my inner crease, and I'm going to take this up slightly just below my brow bone. I like to bring my colors in just a little bit in my inner eye corner, because then when we do that cut crease, you'll have the color, the wash of color right behind the cut crease. And as I blend that out, any leftover product I'll be taking and slightly flicking out. That will kind of help to wing out the look. And sometimes what I like to do is, so I'll be switching back to my E25, and I'm not adding any product on it. I'm just going to go over and slightly blend out what I just applied. And I'll repeat the same step to the other eye. So I have that all blended out, and I'll be taking an even darker brown called Smoked from the palette, and I'll be taking that on my E25 brush, and just on one side of the brush, I'm going to lightly pat it on the outer corner of my eye, so like following the little V, and just under both the eyeshadows that I had blended out before. And I'm just focusing the color on it right now, so that's why I'm lightly tapping. Flick it out slightly just so I do not miss this little gap. So what I want to do is I want to build up this color. This will be my third time dipping into the color Smoked. I'm going to just run that under my lower lash line, and I keep in mind that I want to connect these two right here I don't want it to look like I just have my lower lash line and then just a gap and then my top lash line. So I'm just going to run that color on my lower lash line, bringing it up and kind of connecting them. And I'm just going to blend that out just slightly, just to diffuse the color. And then I'll be taking that first light brown that we used, and I'll use that to help blend out the rest. And I'm also going to slightly flick it up just to connect to the eyeshadow that I had flicked out on the top one. These brushes, the Lisa Frank collection, they remind me of my grandmother, because when I would go to her house when I was younger, we would use those coloring books. So when I saw that Morphe came out with this collection, I wanted something from it, so I bought the brush set, and I'm really happy with them. Okay, so this is how it's looking so far. So next what I'm going to do is, to create the cut crease, I'm going to be using concealer. So I first used this Stay Naked Urban Decay concealer, but another one that I really like is the Benefit Boing Cakeless concealer, and I also even have this ColourPop Proof Fresh concealer. Today I think I'll be taking the Benefit Cakeless concealer. You can see the wand, it's slightly tapered, and what I like to do is, because I'll be applying the concealer on the first half of my eye, I just take it and I just like a short line, and before it sets I like to look up and slightly around, because this line right here, because it transferred up, and that is essentially where you'll be overlining your natural crease. I'm just going to follow the line that it made and make sure everything is covered, and then when I get to like right at my pupil, right in the middle of my eye, I like to just slightly blend it. That's when I will start blending. So I will wipe any concealer off and just go in and lightly pat the concealer into the shadow line. I think cut creases are really good to use if you want to create more lid space. So this is really helpful for if you have hooded eyes. You can take you can create more lid space by using concealer, and kind of like, it's almost like when you apply lipstick and you overline your lips, you're kind of overlining your natural lid, your natural crease. You're just creating more lid space. The same with the other eye. I applied it the same way. To blend the concealer out, I used my Sigma. Have I been saying Stigma? I've been using my Sigma Lip L05 pencil, and this is for the lip, but I think it's really small and good to get in the inner corner of your eyelid, and it's really small and precise, so you can really perfect that concealer line. Now I'll take my E25 and I'll kind of wipe off any dark eyeshadow that I have on it, and I'm going to take the second brown that I used to blend in my crease. Take it on just one side of on the brush. You can also use this shade to set the concealer to blend on top of. That is useful when you're going to go in with matte shades. So my concealer is set, and as you can see, the concealer line that we have is blending out into this darker V that we have. And I like to take Smoked, the darker eyeshadow that we used on the outer lash line, and I like to just go over everything that I just did, and just to add more depth. And now I'll take black, and I'm just going to focus that on the lash line just above my eyelashes. And I'm just going to focus that in the very corner of the V, so just where the eye ends. Now taking leftover concealer that I have on a brush, I'm just going to clean up my shadow lines and make it more crisp. If you want a really crisp look, you could always use a piece of tape before doing your base makeup and then peel the tape off, do your base makeup, and you'll have a really sharp line. I also take black and the darkest brown I used and run that along my lower lash line. After blending that, I'm going to take my ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Fringe, and I'm going to be focusing that on the concealer, and I'll be taking my E45 brush and applying it in my inner corner and the first half of my lower lash line. You can always use matte shades or color on top, but I'm going to go with some shimmer today. I'm going to take my NYX Cosmetics Epic Ink eyeliner in black, and I'm going to just line my eyes with a small black line. I'm not going to create any big wing today. I'm just going to keep it simple and the focus on the eyeshadow. This part is totally customizable and you can create whatever you want for the look you're going for. Now I'm just going to apply some falsies and Lancome mascara. So here's my finished look. I chose to create a simple natural glam cut crease, but like I said, this is totally customizable and you can create it to whatever look you're feeling that day. Everything I used, including my base makeup, will be in the description box below. That completes this video. Let me know if this video was helpful for you and if you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed watching. Consider leaving a like. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.